Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. This is the 392nd episode of the Immigration Answers Show. I will be here for you live from Des Moines, Iowa. I have gone from London and Paris, and now I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. So don't say I don't take you guys anywhere interesting. We are up here for the next couple of days for Noor's softball tournament. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you all have had a good chance to have a nice break yesterday for the 4th of July. For those of you in the United States, if you're willing to, please leave us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from, what's going on. Maybe tell us how you spent the 4th of July. Let us know if you did something fun. Did you get to see the fireworks? Did you get to spend time with family and people you care about? I hope that was true for all of you. We didn't do much of anything because we were recovering from our trip overseas, and our house has been under construction since January. So we were able to sort of take control of a few rooms, and that meant moving a lot of shit from one room to another. So that's what I do in my life, is I move donk or junk from one room to another. That's what happens when you get old. So hope you all did something more fun than that. Looks like Michael's in Salt Lake. We've got Pennsylvania, Arkansas, Tampa, New York, Dallas. All right. Yes, we are. Raphael points out we're heading towards episode number 400. Number 400. That's hard to believe. Shelly's in Bridgeport. Luis is in Seattle. Joel is writing from New York City. Had family time. Andrew not able to see the fireworks in San Francisco because of the fog. We got Jamaica in the house, Baltimore. How about all that? And then, of course, we also have our good friend Huli, who is here watching the comments, making sure you guys give her the love. Hey, listen, we've gotten a couple 1-star reviews from people mad that my intake people won't give them legal advice. Just got another nasty one today. The intake people can't give legal advice. We don't give legal advice. We don't tell people how to fill out forms. It's really unfortunate when people leave us a 5-star review. We have this show where people can call, ask any question they want to a licensed immigration lawyer for free. Tell me another immigration lawyer that does that with any regularity. So the idea that people are leaving us 1-star reviews because we won't tell them individualized free information about their case, fuck that. So if you guys could do us a favor and help us out, we'd really appreciate it. We like to try to knock down those 1-star reviews. If you could leave us a 5-star review, it would really help, and we would really appreciate it. So with that being said, I'm going to be here answering questions for the full hour. Let's see what Katie has to say. Hi, Katie. You're on mute.
Sorry. Hey, Jim.
How you doing?
Good. So I talked to you a few weeks ago. So just a quick rundown. My husband was placed in removal proceedings in 2019. He appealed it. It got denied. Last year, he was given a month to leave. He didn't. He was detained in February. And then we hired a lawyer, and the initial motion to reopen was denied. And then I got in contact with the prosecutor and bothered them. And so he said, okay, we'll give you what you want if you prove that the marriage is real. So the I-130 was approved within a month of it being filed. And then they joined the motion to reopen the case. We did an emergency stay of removal. He finally got released in May, and the BIA issued a decision on his case as a termination.
Okay.
So the clarity that we want to get is with what does the termination decision mean?
I mean, it should mean that, how did he enter the United States?
He was legal. He came in 1989.
Does he have proof of that?
Yes.
He's got a I-94 or a stamped visa? Okay. So, this is hard for me to answer without looking at all the documents, but what it seems to suggest, if deportation proceedings, if the order of deportation has been vacated,
Mm-hmm.
and if termination occurred of the deportation itself, then that suggests to me that he's free to adjust status by filing an I-45 with USCIS. I can't say that for sure because he has a very, as you know, complicated immigration history.
Yeah.
It would take more than this phone call for us to be able to talk about that. But generally, if the deportation order was set aside and if proceedings were terminated, then he should be free to file a 485 based on your approved I-130.
Okay, that's what we wanted to know. And we were also interested in getting a different lawyer because the lawyer that we initially hired, I pretty much did all the work. They just filled out the paperwork. And I'm the one that made everything happen. So we're trying to get away from that instead of me having to be the investigator and, so we are interested in looking into.
Yeah, well, I'd be interested to see that BIA decision and the I-130 approval. If you want to send me that over, I can look it over and we can tell you if we think we can help.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks, Katie.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Yeah, that's not the first time we've heard people doing all the legwork for their attorneys. So Rocio's here. Hi, Rocio. What's up?
Hello. How are you? It's a little bit windy here.
It looks a little
It's
windy.
nice to see you. Did you have a good time in your vacation?
Had just a great time. Great time.
Awesome.
Hard to beat.
I know it's hard to come back, right? Back to reality. So this time I have a few questions and it's for a friend of mine. It's not my case.
Sure.
So my friend's husband, he came to the US on a K-1 visa. And he's already adjusted status and he's actually with a pending 751. So during the K-1 visa medical, he was referred to a psychiatrist before approval based on all self-harm that happened 10 years before like the visa was issued. So the psychiatrist recommended approval, but also recommended treatment in the US, which he has been doing since 2022. So far it's a year and a half of treatment for his, his issues prior to. So they're thinking of applying for citizenship. They wouldn't be applying in the next few months because they're not able to, but he's not a danger to himself or others. It's just depression and social anxiety, which my understanding is that it hinders his ability to speak English properly. So the first question is, can they apply for citizenship and use Form N-648, for the waiver of the civics exam and the English exam?
Does he have a job?
That one I don't know, but my friend is watching. I think so. I'm not sure about that.
If you had to guess, what kind of job do you think he has?
You're killing me. And you're actually making me like bad friend because I should know these details. Let me see. She's on the phone with me right now. But I would say it probably has to do with computers and stuff like that, probably. But I'm not sure.
How old a person is this?
30s.
So with N-648s, they don't care what he says. They don't care what his lawyer says. All they care about is what a doctor says. And the doctor would have to have a long history. I mean, he's got the treatment records, it sounds like, but the doctor would have to say that there's something physically wrong with his brain that would prevent him from learning English. And I think that's a hard sell, especially if he has a job in computers. They're going to say if he can work in a job in computers, then he should be able to learn how to speak English and pass the civics test.
So my friend, she just replied, she has had jobs before, but right now he's studying and the work is like the field, it's culinary arts, like cooking arts. And he's 33 years old.
So 648s are hard to get approved. They're a lot harder. They're a lot harder than they used to. And the younger you are, the harder it is. So I would say what I would do is I would tell him, focus on learning English, focus on getting ready for the exam, try it. And then maybe, because I've even had cases where I've filed a well-documented 648 and they said, well, I'd rather not have to adjudicate that 648. Let's just try the test, and then the people pass. So I
Okay.
would say for someone in their
Okay.
30s, or someone in their 30s, USCIS is going to have knives out for them to not approve the medical waiver. And I would say, let's spend some time, a good chunk of time, a year or two, trying to learn English for
Trying
the
to.
purposes of the test. Yeah.
Right. So I guess the next question is mute because it appears that a letter from a current doctor is needed for the 648. But are there
Much more
any
than
other requirements?
it's much more than a letter. The doctor has to basically fill out the 648. It's not the letter. The letter doesn't mean
Okay.
squat. They have to certify, like they have to put their
Mhm.
license on the line and say, yeah, this person can't learn English. So, I mean, typically
Okay.
the ones that we've seen where that gets won is like some old grandma was in the Bosnian War and some bomb fell on her house and hit her in the head. I
Right.
mean, I'm not trying to discount, depression or anxiety, but I would think USCIS's response would be that there have been plenty of people who are depressed or who've had anxiety who've passed their naturalization.
Right. And so well, so this say that it wasn't the case, but the fact that people filed the 648, will that hinder like the chances of the naturalization being approved even outside of this case? Does the 648 make the approval harder for N400?
That's a good question. Well, so let me make clear what you're asking. So are you asking me, does the fact that somebody filed a 648 make it less likely that N400 is going to get approved? Or
Exactly. Yes.
I don't think that. I don't think that. In fact, I think more people that file with the 648 get denied, but that's just because the 648 gets denied.
Okay. And again, this is like kind of like a general question because I don't think they're taking that route. But if they're approved, if the 648 is approved, will the citizenship have any restrictions? Or okay, because I don't think that a citizenship can have restrictions legally, right?
Yeah, you
Okay.
either get it or you don't.
And then again, general question: if for some reason a 648 gets denied, what will happen next with an N400 that it's pending?
Well, so typically the way that it works, you file the 648 and they adjudicate it on the spot at the naturalization interview. They usually haven't spent much time looking at the file. They will review it and they'll say, like I said, what some officers will do is like, I don't even want to get into that 648. Let's see if your boy can pass the test. Like try that first. Then if they don't, then they adjudicate the 648. If they deny the 648, then they will definitely give them the test and see if they pass, right? So if they don't, then you usually get 60 days and they reschedule you for a second appointment to see if you can pass. Anyone who files an N400 has 2 chances to pass the test.
So if the 648, what you're saying is the 648 is denied, the N400 will run its natural course.
It stays alive. Yep.
Okay, it's right. I mean, it can be okay. Can I suggest that you make a video on this if you haven't? Have you made a video on 648?
I think I do. Yeah, I think I do, but I can do a new one.
Okay, because I've been looking for it, but I couldn't find it for my friend.
Okay, I'll do one. Yeah, I mean, this is a good.
Okay.
These are all good questions, so I'll just reshoot this. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Rocio, see ya.
Bye-bye.
That's our friend Rocio from Columbus, Ohio. OG from Brazil. So let's try to Alex. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Jim. What's up? Long time no see.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. We definitely missed you. You were gone for a long time, and I've been burning with a couple of questions. So I want to start by telling you a couple of important facts. So we got married. Me and my husband got married in July and filed on August 9th of 2022, the I-130 outside of the US, me living in Vienna, Austria. And in the beginning, it said that we have to wait 10 months. And then when we got to the 2 months left mark, they extended it to 6 months in total. And when we were at 4 months left, they said your case is taking longer than usual. Now, the question is, can we expedite this, the I-130, with the justification that the mother of my husband is disabled 100%, and also his father and also my husband is disabled, but my husband, due to military, he's like 60% disabled. Is this enough justification to get this expedited?
Well, we have to remember that most expedite requests are denied, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everybody wants their case to go faster,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is an I-130 away that'll be consular processed,
Mm-hmm.
and you're the beneficiary.
Yes.
So are his mom and dad in the United States?
Yes, they are in the US. They're separated. Both of the parents have separate lives. Yeah.
So walk me through the argument that you being in the United States helps him because his mother's disabled. I don't know how that ties together.
Yeah, well, so what we did was, first of all, we went to the congressman. I mean, he went to the Congress, or the Congress responsible. I don't know what you call that. And he's been advised that if he had his mother disabled, he could expedite our case.
Okay, so that's a great point. So Congress people are idiots. The people that work in their office are not immigration lawyers. They don't know anything. So that it wasn't bad advice. It's just the wrong advice. Again, I don't see how, I mean, here's what I'm worried about you're getting close to, right? And that is the argument, I need my wife here to help take care of my mother.
Exactly. Yes. That's
a terrible argument. That's a terrible argument.
Wow.
Because they think that you are coming to be his slave.
Oh, I mean, we thought that would.
That's one of the worst arguments for expediting that I've actually heard.
Why were you gone, Jim? We should have asked you before.
That's all right.
Oh my God. Okay, so now that we think that that's not going to work, can we sue them?
Hold on. So what embassy will your case be at?
Okay, my embassy is in Vienna, Austria. It's it's a small embassy. Usually,
what's the receipt date on the I-130?
Receipt date is August 9th of 2022. We're getting closer to the 1 year mark, and that's why I also wanted to ask you if we could sue them after August 9th of this year.
Yeah, I think that's fine. That's going to be much more effective than wasting time with expedite requests that probably aren't going to go anywhere. I would say so.
We already called the USCIS agent, and we said that we wanted to have our case expedited with this reason. That was like a week ago.
Now watch. Here's what will happen, Alex. You're going to call me back next week and say, Jim, you're such an idiot. We just got the expedite request approved, right? So who the hell knows? I'm just saying that 95% of expedite requests get denied. And I don't think that this argument that you've made so far is a winner. I mean, they deny people to expedite where like you're overseas and you want to come see your husband because he's dying of cancer. They deny those expedite requests. So I think this one is just so separated from your actual case that it's probably not going to work. But the fact that you made it with USCIS, I don't think it has any long-term effects or anything other than the fact you don't want to hype up too much that your U.S. citizen spouse is disabled, because we don't want them thinking about the fact that you might become a public charge because he might stop working and making money.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so we'll leave that alone. But if we see no
I'd say if by September 1st you haven't heard something, let us know and we can sue USCIS for that delay.
And can we get in contact with you already, like prior to September 1st? Because I guess you're very, very busy with a lot of cases, just to make sure that.
Yeah, I would say August 1st or something, in middle of August, sometime in there. That'd be a good time.
Okay, that's great. Then my other question is, why are the cases from this year being basically expedited? Like they're taking 3 months to get approved. What is this? This is bothering me.
Well, I think they're focused on cases where the beneficiaries in the United States, the ones that are going fast are ones with a 485.
Mhm.
I'm not saying this is fair. I'm also saying they're also doing the thing that they always do, which is once they finally get around to admitting that there's a backlog, their solution usually is, well, let's not make the backlog any worse. Let's start doing what we should do in every case on these newer cases, and then we'll work backwards for the ones that have been taking a long time.
That's
I'm not saying
terrible.
I agree, but that's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And once, so if we sue them, how long would you say it would take for me to get to the United States? Can I make it before this year ends? If we sue them in September 1st, on September 1st?
I don't think so. No, because if I sue you, so I'm only suing USCIS. In the old days, I could sue USCIS and the State Department, but I can't do that anymore. The judges won't let me. So I sue USCIS. That's going to take 90 days. So October, November, December, and then you still have to do National Visa Center and the embassy. So you got a long way to go. Even after you're still stuck in stage 1. We haven't even gotten to stage 2.
Yes. Yes.
But the good thing for you is Austria is not a very busy embassy, as you mentioned. So,
But where can I find out what the average waiting times are for getting an interview? Like,
you just got to find chat boards and stuff and see what people are saying is once my case is documentarily qualified in Vienna, I bet there's a Facebook group, immigrants going through the consulate. And
yes, it's hard to find one of those since there are not so many people immigrating out of Vienna. So I would love to have like a fair estimation of when will I be able to move to the US. We've been together for 5 years and we've never been really able to live together like with no problems, no issues because
have you been to the United States before?
Yes, I have. And I have been, first of all, in 2017, I came on a J1 visa. I was supposed to stay to December 2019, but I left prior. I left 6 months prior because of dental issues, and I had to also start university here. So I didn't overstay nothing. And then the same year I applied for the visa, for the tourist visa, and I was very smooth. It was everything has been very fast for me up until this I-130 process. And I've been to the US like for like 4 times, I think, in this whole in total after leaving on the J1 visa. Yeah, I just came from the US end of May visiting
On
my
visa
husband.
waiver?
Hmm?
On visa waiver?
No, on normal visa.
Was
Like
it a multiple? Was it a
multiple entries. Yes, I come from Romania originally, and we don't have ESTA. I live in Austria, but still, citizenship.
So when is your multiple entry visa over? Is it over now?
No. The you mean the durability of the visa is I'm good till up until 2029 September.
So hypothetically, if someone was married to a U.S. citizen and had a long pending I-130 and it got approved maybe while they were visiting their spouse in the United States, and they decided, I'm tired of waiting I don't want to go through the whole National Visa Center and all that stuff. If they decided once they were in the United States to just stay and file a 485, we've handled that case many times.
An adjustment of status. Okay.
Yeah.
But it would have to be I would have to be lucky and get approved while I'm in the US.
Or come after.
Come after the I-130 is approved.
In theory. Like, I can't tell you to come to the United States and file for adjustment. Like, that's
I know.
You can't plan to do that. But I've had many cases where people call me, not right now where you are, but later. Like, even if you, let's say you didn't go back home in May and you waited a year and then the I-130 got approved, your spouse is a U.S. citizen, so that would all be forgiven, the overstay.
Yeah, it's just I don't wanna. I wouldn't. I am totally against of uh, uh, gathering this unlawful presence in the
Yeah,
U.S. I'm so against of it. It's
I get
very
that.
hard to be separated. I rather do it here and be very sad every day because I cannot be with my husband than doing something like that. But if I decided to, if something happens and I come after we sue them, and I have to stay in the US and I have to adjust like unplanned, right? Everything is
Yeah,
unplanned.
yeah.
How long would it take for me to get my working permit? That takes like 15 months. That's the problem,
Nah,
right?
it's not taking that long anymore. I would say now it's taking. I mean, you wouldn't be able to apply the first 2 months that you're here, right?
Yeah,
So you'd
I
have to
know.
wait the 60 days, and then once you apply, work cards probably 3 to 6 months.
Okay, so it's not that bad. It's like just like the MVC process, basically.
Yeah, but you'd be here with your spouse.
Yes, that's right. So that's more recommendable. Because I asked you the same question before this whole changes like a couple of months ago, and you did not recommend that. You called it like a bubble.
Bubble girl, yeah, because you're stuck. You're
Yes,
stuck.
yes. But I'm stuck here anyway through the MVC, and so basically, you think that I'm not making it before January this year. So just like have a
Unless you came on a visit visa.
And do all that. Okay. And one last question: if I had circumstances that I have to stay in the U.S. on my tourist visa, and I have to adjust after 2 or 3 months, what is a fair justification for me adjusting the status? Like, uh, what do they ask me, or what is it that I have to prove that I really did not plan this happened? Like,
Well, I mean, that does come up sometimes.
mhm,
And the kinds of things that are important are whether you had a round trip ticket to go back home, whether you
mhm,
sold all your earthly possessions, whether you closed up your whole life in Austria before you came, or if it can be your burden to show that you did not misrepresent yourself into the United States. Now, to me, the other big factor that you have in your favor is that you have entered the United States and left the United States while having a pending I-130 petition and while married to a U.S. citizen. So if they think you're this evil person who jumped the line, you could have done it a long time ago. The fact that you've left
yes.
and come back, that's your best argument, I think.
And because I have a job, and I mean, I could have like the lease of the apartment. It's obviously not terminating anytime soon.
Yeah.
Would it be, for example, if I decided I don't want to do this job anymore, but I'm coming home anyway, and then in the US, I still pay the rent here and everything. It's just that I don't have that job anymore. Are they going to ask me for the job? Or is it enough for me to prove to them, okay, my residency was in Austria, I was planned to go home, here's my round trip ticket, and I also have this rental still going on. I'm still paying rent on a monthly basis. You can, like, from bank statements, I can show them. Would that be fair? Or
So
would
I'm gonna tell you a concept they teach you in law school, right? And it's called the totality of the circumstances. The totality of the circumstances. In other words, you have to look at the whole picture, and you can't just say that one little factor is going to carry the day unless there's some kind of like smoking gun that shows that you absolutely tried to trick. Like sometimes people get caught on their phones coming through customs saying, ha ha ha, I'm coming on this visit visa and I'm going to apply for adjustment. Like that's a smoking gun. But otherwise, it could be your burden if they bring it up. They don't usually bring it up that much. But if they do, if you can point to a couple things that show that you had the intention to go back home, usually that's enough to
I'm also, I forgot to tell you, maybe this is also like a good justification. Just in case, I'm not planning. I'm just, I'm also registered, or I don't know how to call it, inscribed for a master's program in Vienna. Would that also be like
Those are
showing them
all factors. But like I said, it's 50-50 whether they even bring it up.
No, just to know if they, in case they bring it up. And if I was not to do anything and leave it at God's will, not sue them, not bother with the expedite anymore, and not do anything, that would, I'm assuming it would take probably another 6 months at least for the I-130 to get approved if I was not moving anything.
Maybe.
Okay. Chances that the I-130 gets approved anytime soon without moving anything are very small, would you say?
I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. Somebody did a little checking for you and said one of the forms shows that Austria has a wait time of less than 3 months after DQ. But there's one factor that she mentioned, that she's not an Austrian citizen. She's a Romanian citizen living in Austria. So that always complicates and slows things down on the embassy side.
Oh, okay.
Whenever you're doing a third country.
Because I have my residency in Austria and then like my green card for Austria. I don't know if.
Yeah, but just from the State Department's point of view, when they're viewing, I think when they're viewing somebody from another country inside that embassy, they don't treat them as well. I'm not saying that you have anything to worry about. I'm just saying it's not as fast. All right, I got to get going, Alex.
All right. Thank you very much, Jim.
Okay, have a good day.
Bye.
See ya. Bye-bye. All right. Let's say hi to Mohsen. Mohsen's been waving and saying hello. Hello, Mohsen.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. Excellent. I'm actually a British citizen. I'm currently in Egypt at the moment. I'll give you a quick breakdown of my situation, and then I'll ask you my question. Yeah. It's my first time on the show. So basically, what it is that I got divorced in Egypt on the 23rd of March, and I don't know if you know how Islamic divorces work. You have to have a waiting period of 90 days. And what happens is that after the 90 days, in that 90 days, it's called a revocable divorce. After 90 days, it's called an irrevocable divorce. Now, what's happening is that I'm planning some time in the future maybe to marry a US citizen. If I decide I want to be there, or if we want to decide we want to be there. Now, I've come back to Egypt to get to see the status of my divorce. On there, it still says it's revocable. If I'm thinking, if I was to get this certificate, if I was to apply for I-130 later in the future, would it have any problems with USCIS because it says revocable on it?
So I'm looking up something real quick.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the visa reciprocity table for divorce certificates from Egypt. And it says the Maozoon, the government issued religious authority, charges a fee to register the divorce. It says the divorce certificates are bilingual. The Arabic section fades from left to right, from orange to green to orange. Let's see. I'm just seeing if it says anything. I'm just seeing if it says anything about revocable versus irrevocable divorce. Once the divorce has been registered, the husband, wife, or lawyer representing either the husband or wife can go in person to obtain an electronic copy. It doesn't say anything about. I would just, not having had this issue come up before, I would say that a revocable divorce would probably not be final for purposes of being free to marry. I would say that probably you need to hold out and not get married until you have the irrevocable, but I don't know that for sure. I think that might be a good question for the question is whether you're free to marry. That's what you need to ask your divorce lawyer in Egypt, is when under Egyptian law do I become free to marry? And then hopefully they have some kind of citation to authority. I thought it might be there on the visa reciprocity table, but it's not.
Okay. So the Dar al-Ifta, which is the governmental body who issues legal edicts, have said to me that I'm free to marry. Would I able to use that as well if I was to get it notarized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs?
Yeah, I mean, how fast are you planning on? I mean, when is the marriage going to become irrevocable? When is the divorce going to become irrevocable? And then when do you want to get married?
The divorce has become irrevocable because it's been more than 90 days. So I registered. My divorce is registered from the 23rd of March. So, and then it's 90 days after that, 23rd of March, April, May, June. And then after that, it's meant to be irrevocable.
Sounds like you're golden.
Yeah. But when I went back to the Ministry of Justice, they've said to me that we can't, you're going to have to keep this certificate, and we can't change the status from revocable to irrevocable. When I asked them why, they said because your ex-partner didn't come to sign, is refusing to sign the actual document for divorce. So I said, okay, what can I do in this case? So they asked me to go and get a legal edict by the government body, the legal called the Dara Lifta. They've asked me to go and get a document from them to say that I am free to marry. So I've got that document now. I'm waiting for it to be translated. I'm going to get it stamped by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Would that be suffice enough for the USCIS, do you reckon?
I do. I mean, I'm not going to certify it myself. I mean, I think you have to go into it with eyes wide open, knowing that they might give you trouble later. But my response would be, what else can you do? You've done everything humanly possible to demonstrate you're free to divorce. You've waited the 90 days. You have the edict. You have it written. You have it translated into English. I think that's all you can do.
Okay, sure. I was also thinking maybe I can actually see if I can get it recognized by the UK authorities as well. Would that help, do you reckon?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thanks,
all right.
Mohsen.
No worries. I mean, yeah, that was all my questions today. It's a pleasure.
Good
Take
luck,
care now.
buddy.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay, bye. Kevin's been waiting. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, thank you so much for picking me.
Sure. What's up?
Hi, so I want to explain a little bit about my situation, and then you can tell me your opinion. So I got married to my wife in 2017. We've been married for more than 5 years now. During that time, though, I was in removal proceedings, right? And so I filed my I-485, and we eventually got an interview 2019, and I got my I-130 approved, but I was not able to get my I-485 approved because they had said that I was still in removal proceeding, and they didn't have jurisdiction over my case.
Yeah.
In 2021, I got new lawyers, and they were able to file a joint motion to get my case terminated in court. And so I got kicked out of the immigration system, like immigration court, and I had a termination letter, termination of removal proceeding. I have my approved I-130, and then they filed a new I-485 because they said the old one that I filed was kind of like
defective.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I filed my I-485, and then me and my wife, we moved to like a new state, and they have a faster processing. In the middle though, like I got a word that my dad was dying of prostate cancer. We tried to expedite, but USCIS refused.
Did you say your dog or your daughter?
My dad, my father.
Your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. But they still refuse to expedite it. However, they sent me a request for evidence for like my medical. I sent it to them. They also told the congressional liaison that they had marked my case as not requiring an interview, so that that all I should.
What's the receipt date on the 485?
The new one or the old one?
The new one.
November of 2021.
Well, shit. Okay. And if you were to have an interview, what field office, like where do you live now?
The Hialeah field office.
Where?
Hialeah, Florida.
In Florida, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could sue them.
Yeah, so that's what I was asking, because like it was last month that my case officially went out of normal processing, and my lawyers raised an inquiry, and they told my lawyers that that they're working on the case, And
yeah, my ass, they're working on your case.
and then, but the one that really like bothered me was the one that they sent to the congressional office when they raised the request. They said that USCIS is unable to render a decision on the application until certain issues are resolved. USCIS is striving to resolve these issues as soon as possible. We are unable to determine at this time when the review process for these applications will be completed. We respectfully.
In other words, leave us alone. Let us do what we want.
Oh, okay. Because that bothered me because I was like, what issues am I having? Like, is there?
That's just form language.
Oh,
but,
okay.
but here's the thing.
Yeah.
So how did you get in removal in the first place? Did you overstay a visa?
Long story. I was in school, and I couldn't afford to pay for school, and so I had ICE pick me up from my college dorm.
But the important thing is that you were inspected, so you didn't enter without. You entered on.
Yeah, I got in as an F1 visa on an F1 visa.
Okay, so I don't know if you've ever been to USCIS, but in most immigration officers' offices, there's lots of files around. Some files are very thin. Some files are very thick. So when somebody was on an F1 and then filed a 485 or filed, an I-130 and a 485 and then was in removal and then files a new 485, that's a whole lot of paper in that file, right? So the fact of the matter is they're scratching their head trying to figure out, why does this guy have two 485s? Even though you and I know the old one was wrong and messed up. But, when you start talking about somebody's immigration case who was at USCIS, at CVIS, at the immigration court, now is back at USCIS, when you have all that stuff, they just put that shit on the shelf and they don't worry on it. They don't work on it, right? So the good thing, I think, if it's true that you've submitted your medical and they don't think you're going to need an interview, then to me, filing a lawsuit on this one makes a lot of sense because it'll just make them take it off the shelf and decide it. They're not going to fuck around with it. If you're married to a U.S. citizen for 5 years, you have an approved I-130, it's really just no one's looking at your file. That's the fundamental problem.
Okay. And then I had a question concerning, do I need to get a new biometrics? Because I feel like it's been more than 15 months since my last biometrics.
Probably not, but who cares? That's not a big deal.
Oh, okay. So do I contact you then to file a lawsuit?
Yeah. Have you called the office before?
Yeah, they recommended the show to me first, and then yeah.
Okay. Well, Julie will find you in the comment in the system, and she'll reach out to you. But if you don't hear back from her today, then reach out and say, "Hey, I was on the show with Jim at about the 40-minute mark on Wednesday," and we'll go from there.
So if I file a lawsuit, then they would definitely decide on my case.
Well, I would think so. Yeah. I mean, you've been waiting a long time. I don't think they're going to fight that one. Julie says you're not in the system, so I need you to send an email to info at least under the name on here, and okay. Don't give out another name on here. Just go ahead and send an email to info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com and say, I'm Kevin. I was on the show at the 40-minute mark with Jim on Wednesday, and I want to file a lawsuit against the Hialeah USCIS field office.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. See you, buddy.
All right.
All right. Let's say hi to OK. What's up, OK? OK, are you with us? Hello?
I was on the show in the 40-minute mark with Jim on Wednesday. And
go ahead, bud. I think he's on delay or something. OK, you're up.
Hey, Jim, I can't hear you.
That's weird. You can't hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
I'll come back. All right. OK's having problems. Let's go to Ali. Hello, Ali.
Hey, Jim. How you doing?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good. I'm blessed. I have very simple questions. Do you believe that since F2A is retrogressed, so they are not approving any I-130 for F2A?
Well, it depends. When it retrogresses, they do sometimes, they're supposed to keep processing them. The I-130 is just whether or not there's a valid marriage. But when they start seeing backlogs and they know that the person isn't coming anytime soon, they do slow down processing those cases, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So My priority date is January 10, 2022, and
Yeah.
F2A for my wife.
Yeah.
Nothing. Usually before the last, I've joined many chat groups. The last one I've seen October and November 21 back in April. And since then, there is no approval. And it's been like 16, 17 months for me. So I was wondering, should I wait? Is it a time to sue?
Well, what's the for the visa bulletin? What's the visa bulletin processing date for F2As? I haven't looked at it.
September 8, 2020.
So you're like 16 or 18 months from that.
Yes.
Then I would say I would say keep an eye on the visa bulletin, but I wouldn't waste money on a lawsuit right now.
Okay. So, and have you seen anything? You've been working, so I've never seen a single one after May, and that the last priority date was September and November 21.
I don't pay any. You know better than me, Ali, on that. And people in the comments might have some thoughts on that, but I don't pay attention to that stuff.
So you mean we should wait? No, it's not a good time to sue them just to see the priority date.
Mm-mm.
Okay, and
I mean, it'd be nice to have an approved I-130 if the dates get closer to current. But if you're still 18 months away, then I wouldn't mess with the lawsuit. I'd wait till there's like 6 months left.
Okay, thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
Bye, Ali. See you, buddy.
It's hard, really hard.
I'm sorry, Habibi. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay, bye, buddy. TJ, what's up? You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
I got you.
All right. Thank you for hosting this live show. It means a lot for all of us. I have a quick question. I was granted asylum back in 2016 and got my green card in 2020. So I have about a year left before I can apply for citizenship.
Okay.
But my question is, excuse me, it's been 10 years since I've seen my mom and dad, and they're getting old and sickly. I was wondering if it's okay to, visit back home without repercussions,
Sure. How long would you be gone?
It would be a few weeks. I have a job, so I would have to maintain. But
so you have a green card. You have a valid passport. Were you ever out of status in the United States?
Never. Just
and ever have any criminal convictions in the United States?
Never.
Oh yeah, man, go see your parents.
But it's an asylum case, so I'm worried that when I come back.
So can you go see them in a different country or no?
No, that's almost impossible to do that.
And has anything changed in your home country that would give you the argument that I didn't have to fear going back to my home country anymore because things are different?
Yeah, the regime has changed in the past few years. So that was my main argument, that I could say, the regime has changed, but I don't know if they revoke my asylum status, I guess, based on that.
I mean, everyone says that I'm too conservative on this, that I should go easier on people that got asylum. Now, if there's a demonstrated change in regimes, and if there are news stories that say that whatever issue it was that made TJ fear going back to that country, if you could find me news stories that say that it's safer for you to go back, and if you couple that with sick and dying parents, I think that it's the chances of you getting in big trouble at citizenship time are pretty darn small.
Okay. And my other concern is my wife is still, she has a derivative asylum.
So you have an I-730 for your wife?
Yes.
And that's pending?
It's been approved, but she's trying to adjust the status. Would she be affected by me traveling overseas and back?
Now, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's the kind of thing that they could be dicks about and mess with her derivative case. Yeah, Nasir, we know that asylum green card holders shouldn't go home. I say that all the time, Nasir, but we're trying to be a little bit nuanced here with TJ because of the issues that he's raising. So pay attention to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is generally don't go back home if you have asylum. I yell it all the time from the top of the building. But TJ's got some factors, including a change in regime, that that might make it safer. But in the last question, which is, now I have a 730 pending for my
It's
wife.
been approved, actually. Yeah.
It's been approved.
Mm-hmm.
But when she applies for a green card, is that going to give her trouble? And I think it might. So, these are all weighing different things. And, if you're close to being able to get your citizenship and she's close to getting her green card, then I might just wait a little bit longer.
That's okay. And then my second question is actually, so she's trying to adjust the status, filed for 85, and they said that they denied it because they thought she was out of status. And then we were able to submit, file a lawsuit, and then they admitted recently just about
that they're dumbasses.
Yeah, they made a mistake, but we're still keeping the lawsuit going because we just don't know how they would. I guess whether they would approve it or not.
Because she still doesn't have the damn green card.
Yeah. So
in other words, you filed a lawsuit. They've admitted their mistake, but they haven't given her the green card yet.
Not yet, and they've been served. It hasn't been 60 days yet, but we haven't heard anything in terms of. Is that a normal process for them to wait? Okay, so just wait until the last minute.
Yeah, they'll wait for the last minute. Yep. Is this a lawsuit we filed or somebody else?
She actually did it by herself.
Yeah, no problem. No. I think that's not unusual. I mean, it's one thing for them to admit their mistake. It's another thing for them to do the mechanical things that have to happen for the approval notice to be issued.
Okay. So we just have to wait.
Mm-hmm.
And then just extend any trips for me, I guess, overseas.
Or try to figure out some way to meet in the third country.
That's true. Yeah. But they're really old, folks. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Good luck to you and your wife and to your parents.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye, TJ. Yeah, that's tough when people's parents are older. That's definitely tough. Okay, came back. Okay, let's see if can you hear me now? Okay.
Hey, Jim, I can hear you now.
Awesome.
I love your show. I left you a 5-star review before speaking to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Other lawyers would charge $250 just to talk to you. You're doing it for free, so I know. So, Jim, I have 2 questions. Let me give you a little background to how I came to the U.S. I came to the U.S. on a K-1 visa, and I got divorced earlier this year. I came in 2018, and I got divorced earlier this year. So I'm about to apply for citizenship this year in October. We'll make it 5 years on the 5-year rule. But I only have 4 years of tax returns because when I came in 2018, I didn't get a green card until January 2019. So can I go ahead and apply for citizenship with only 4 years of tax returns?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you recommend me filing tax returns for 2018, even if it was 0 income base?
Probably.
Okay. And I have my second question is, I and my ex-wife, we have a child. The divorce mostly was on her side, like she was the reason. Yeah, not hostile, but I'm on camera. I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, that's okay.
But would it be a problem when I apply for citizenship? Like, would they go to her and say, "Hey, what happened in your marriage? Why are you guys divorced?"
Well, first of all, yes, they might. But first of all, they're probably going to be more focused on child support. So what's the child support situation?
Oh, I have that on file through the courts. So I pay every month and I'm keeping a record of it. She issues me a receipt every month. So
yeah. And walk me, I know you very quickly at the top, okay, you said the timeline, but tell me sort of the date of your marriage, the date you got the green card, and the date you got divorced.
So I came in June of 2018.
Yeah.
We got married in August of 2018.
Yeah.
And I got a green card in January 2019. It only took a month for me to get my first green card.
It's great.
So, and then I removed the conditions on the green card. That took a year. And we got divorced officially in March of this year, 2023.
Okay. So the 751, no problem. You were still married all the way through the 751 process.
Yeah, there was no problem. I didn't have an interview. I was just with the green card.
If they did knock on her door, what do you think she would say?
Oh, she would say, he's a good father. Stay for sure.
She would say what?
She would say he's a good dad.
Oh.
And she wants me to stay here.
Right.
Because we co-parents, very good. I see my son every day. I see her almost every day also when I go to pick up my son.
Yeah. I think you're fine. I don't think you need to worry about this.
So I shouldn't ask her to write like an affidavit and sign it?
I mean, generally, I like that, but you already have. I don't think you need that so much for citizenship, especially on the 5-year rule. I think you'll be fine. You've got a good timeline. If it was some funky timeline on the, like, if it seemed like you got filed for divorce the day after you got your 10-year green card, that's one thing. But if the divorce, was just this year, you have a long history together, I think you're fine.
Okay, that was my question. Oh, one more question.
Yeah.
Can I leave another 5-star review after leaving the first one?
I don't know. I don't think so.
All right, cool.
Thanks. Okay. See you, buddy.
All right. Good show.
I appreciate it. Appreciate the review as well. So thanks for that. All right. Let's say hi to George Stelling, Ovidiu.
That's not my name. That's my husband's name. Hi, everybody. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you for picking me. So I'm going to be really, really fast. I know there's a lot of people waiting, but basically it's very simple. My husband and I just got married. He has pre-settled status here in the UK. I'm here for school, but I actually want to transfer to a school in the States. And I have not worked for a year, so I don't have the affidavit of support seemingly. So I'm wondering how I can maneuver through this. Should we apply for the K3 visa and the 130, or do I just get a job and we do the long distance things for a few years until I can build up my US income? Because my job is in the UK and apparently that's not qualifiable income because it won't be transferred to the States.
So I have a U.S. citizen married to a British national, right?
Well, he's actually Romanian originally, but he has pre-settled status. He's been here for 8 years, and he worked for 8 years.
Okay. And the I-130 is not yet on file?
No.
What's the date of the marriage?
April. Well, we just got married the 14th of June.
Okay. So you can file the I-130 without giving any regards to the financial part of things. So that you want to focus on getting that on file as soon as possible. Financial part is part 2, right? So get that I-130 on file. As far as your financial stuff, you will always be the primary sponsor. You will always be the primary sponsor. In order to be the primary sponsor, you will have had to have filed tax returns with the United States IRS for the last 3 years.
I have not done so, yeah.
So that's number one, is you have to file your tax returns, even if there's zero income, whatever it is, you're gonna have to do it, right? So you will need 3 years of tax returns when you get to the next stage. You don't need that now to file the I-130, but you're gonna need it at the next stage. Then you're going to need a co-sponsor. So you're going to need a U.S. citizen or green card holder who says, if George comes to the United States and gets public benefits and can't pay them back and she can't pay them back, then I will pay them back. So you will definitely need a co-sponsor. So, and again, that's stage 2. So get the I-130 on file, get your taxes in order, and then find yourself a co-sponsor to be the co-sponsor. Don't do this. I'm going back to the United States to live and work. And I mean, you're going to wait enough for him to come anyway. So you might as well get the process started, knowing that you're going to need things, knowing that you're not going to qualify, and knowing that you're going to need a co-sponsor.
So the only thing that's I'm with that plan, but what I was reading online is that the K3 visa will allow him to come for 2 years on a unification purpose. Is that not the case?
Nobody, the K3 allegedly makes the I-130 process go faster. It does nothing else. The State Department will not process K3 visas. That's wherever you're getting that from is old news.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you. That was it.
Okay. See ya.
See ya. Bye.
All right, everybody, that'll do it for today. I am done for the day. Now, listen, I got a crazy day tomorrow. I got recordings of my podcast. Nor has 3 softball games tomorrow here in Iowa. So I might not do a show, but I might do a show. So if you aren't on our text list, which is, you can get on it by texting the word show to 314-470-3300. I'll probably do a show tomorrow. I don't know when in the hell I'm going to do it. It'll probably be at night, or at least after 5 o'clock. I might have a hearing tomorrow at 5. So all that being said, we just don't know when that's going to be. But I will do my best to do a show tomorrow. If not, we'll definitely do one on Friday. But I can't tell you when that's going to be. So this was episode 392. So episode 393 will be tomorrow or Friday, hopefully both. And in the meantime, I hope you all have a great night. And it's always fun being with you. I missed you guys, missed doing the show. Glad to be back. And I hope you all have a great night. Thanks, everybody.